She's an Oscar-winning actress and an insanely successful businesswoman with her brand Goop. Let's say hello to Gwyneth Paltrow, everybody. Hello.
How are you?
I'm so good. Okay, I'm a little bummed you took your glasses off. Those were so rock and roll. You had the black glasses with. It looks so cool.
Can I leave them on? I can see you better if I
Okay,
actually
I'm just
have
saying
them
you
on.
look cool in them. I would wear them if I looked that good in them. But hey, we just spoke with a woman who's headed to space. Would you ever go to space?
Literally never.
I don't know that I would either. I find the thought exhilarating, but then the actuality, like it sets in and I'm like, I don't know if it's because we have kids. Do you think we would have thought differently if we were like 21 and no kids?
I mean, I'm like afraid to fly to Cleveland on a regular plane. No way.
Not a flyer. Well, how about your daughter? She's 16 now. Is she adventurous?
She's incredibly adventurous. I mean, it's interesting. She's like a great mix of pragmatic and adventurous. Like she loves to kind of explore life outside her comfort zone, but then she's like very logical at the same time. I think it's a good combo.
Yeah, it sounds very balanced. I'm going to work on that. The 16-year-old seems to be nailing it. Well, speaking of kids, I saw this photo that you posted. You said, little dude in the back pretending he didn't eat half my sando. They don't ever ask. My kids just walk up and take my stuff. Does that happen all the time to you?
Yes. You know, it's so funny. I remember actually before I had kids, I have a cousin who, first cousin who I'm really close to. Her name's Lisi. And I remember her telling me, she's like, having kids is the best thing in the world, but it's a totally different game. She's like, I mean, you make yourself a whole sandwich and then they just like take it. And
Literally.
you don't even care. You just give them the sandwich. But I've always remembered that. So yeah, I mean, they definitely, I think it's good when kids feel like that level of healthy entitlement for a parent and like what you're supposed to provide for them, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think a healthy dose of entitlement, not too much.
Yeah.
So
True. Yeah.
Do your kids like to tease you?
Oh my God, constantly, especially, I mean, we're out of it now, but I went through a phase with my daughter where I wasn't allowed to like hum, dance, move. Like I was mortifying her on every level. She makes fun of me more than my son does. My son he's really, his humor is different, but she just like, yeah, she's always making fun of me.
Oh my daughter's already doing that at the age of 6, so I can't, it's been great foreshadowing for what's to come. But I tweeted you a while back and I said that you have an honest and captivating voice, and I asked you to make an album. So Gwyneth, how's the album coming along?
Oh my God, this was so nice of you, by the way.
I meant it, by the way. I think that you're a great singer. Like in different movies I've seen you singing. Do you love singing?
I do. I find it really, I find it hard. Like, I think there's a vulnerability that comes out when you sing that's like, for me, it's a bit shocking. And I think that's a good thing. And I like being a backup singer more. Like, I love singing harmonies and stuff like that. There's no way I could make an album or do what you do. I feel like I've been able to hide behind characters who sing and things, but if it was just me, it would be way too vulnerable. No way.
I appreciate any singer that it sounds vulnerable, like what you said, and it sounds believable. But you're an actor, so I guess when you play the characters, it's easier, like you said, to dip into those feelings or whatever. But that's what I loved about your voice and the few things I've seen you sing in. But so this is hilarious to me. You were patient zero in Contagion. Did you think that would ever really happen in our lifetimes?
Oh my gosh. Can you believe it?
No, actually, still, no.
It's just nuts. It's funny when we were making the movie and we were on the set, I remember the producer and writer saying, no, this is going to happen. I mean, because the writer had been researching these kind of viruses. And he's like, we're due for one. It's going to happen in our lifetime. And I thought, I can't even think about that. That's just way too scary to even fathom. And I can't believe that it actually has happened. I mean, we've all just been through it. It's been wild.
I know. It's a crazy thing, too, when you have kids, to try and explain what's happening when you yourself are kind of lost. But you chose, this actually I found interesting as well, you chose to not take lead roles in movies anymore. So what was the reason for that? Because you're awesome. So it seems kind of a waste for all of us.
Oh, you're so nice. Well, my kids, I mean, I just, you know, I, I just couldn't bear getting on a plane and being away for months at a time or missing bedtime. If, I just, I just really wanted to be home as much as possible while they're still in the house. It's such a finite time, and it's hit me so much. My daughter's now a junior in high school. It's gone so fast. And, in a year and a half, she'll be in college, and of course, hopefully we'll maintain our closeness in our relationship, but that her life begins. And you know what I mean? It's such a finite time that they're home. So I wanted to try to focus more on work that I could do at home or at an office around the corner, and not so much traveling or those, big 16, 18-hour days that when you're shooting something, you're just out of the house for that long.
Yeah. No, it is hard. Definitely finding that balance with work and personal life. Well, this is Steven Spielberg is your godfather, so that's random. Like, your life is crazy. Has he documented any moments of your life, and do they look epic?
That is so funny. He always has a video camera in his hands. So any family event, 4th of July, Thanksgiving, whatever the case may be, he's always videoing. So yes, he definitely has videoed me over the years. And he was actually, the only person who was videoing at my wedding 2.5 years ago. So I guess I had a pretty good videographer.
You had a great wedding videographer. That's amazing. Did he charge you? That's the best part. That's amazing though. You've been married for 2 years. Coming from someone who's literally in the amidst a divorce, I can't even imagine doing it again. So, that's amazing that you found love and you found the space and the vulnerability, that level to say yes and do it again. Was that hard for you?
Probably the hardest thing I've ever done, and probably allowing myself to learn the lessons that I needed to learn from my divorce. And then being able to really kind of do that work on myself and then open myself up again. And my husband, he requires that kind of presence and intimacy. And it was really hard for me. Like, I wasn't good at it before. I still struggle with it, but you will have it again, Kelly. It just takes time.
I'm actually in that place where I think a lot of people I've heard that go through divorce, it's almost like you start dating yourself again. Like, you actually make time for you again. And I love dating me. So I'm actually not looking for it, but it's also a beautiful thing for a lot of people like me that are going through divorce that do want that in the future, to know that it can, and will probably happen for you. But how did you learn co-parenting, like with your ex? Because co-parenting can be very difficult, because I think divorce is hard on people, but it's hardest on the kids. And I'm from a divorced family too, twice over as a kid. So it's harder on the kids. Was that all right with you? Is that easy, or is it hard to navigate?
I think we made a commitment early on to be a family, even though we weren't a couple, which, sounds like weird and impossible, but we worked with a therapist who was amazing at helping us communicate. And luckily we both came from families that were strong, and, our parents were still together. My parents were together until my father passed away. We really did want the same things, and we wanted the divorce ideally to impact the kids as little as possible. And I had talked to a lot of people, children of divorce, and I said, what can I learn from your experience? And everybody had the same thing, which was just, I wanted my parents to be friends and like each other. And I didn't want to feel that terrible feeling, when my dad wouldn't come into the house, or my mom made my, dad drop us at the end of the road. And we, so we just tried to make a commitment to really stay close. And we've been able to do that. And, you know, it wasn't easy. I'm proud of us for having, you know, kind of really kept stuck to it. And now it's many years. And so it's
Yeah.
much easier now. You know, it's harder in the beginning, of course, but you just have to make a concerted effort to really think about, you know, what is best for the children in this moment. And then you just have to kind of push your own reactivity down as best you can.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yep, I'm still here, just waiting for you to subscribe. If you don't, I'll be trapped in this box forever. Ah.